Hello everyone and welcome to week 10. This week we're going into chapter 9 about functions, and I thought I would make a quick video of one of the programming assignments at the bottom to help you guys get started this week. So if I, let's see, so we're going to go ahead and do this second one right here. It says create an HTML document which contains a text field, button, and a div. I'm going to write two functions this week with these headers. All right. This first function, do input output, is going to get a temperature from the text field, and then it's going to call the second function and store the value generated by the second function, and then produce an output for the user to see. Okay, and the second function is going to take in a parameter from the first one, calculate the Celsius temperature, and then return the Celsius value. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our template, make a new file. I'm just going to grab this whole thing right here. And for our assignment, I'll just stick it right here. Okay. All right. These two. Okay. So let's see. Looks like we don't need a defining table for this one. So we'll just leave this at that. All right. So we have our second function listed right here. And then our first function is listed right here. Perfect. All right. And then I'll just take these spaces out. Okay, so with that, we need a do input output, which will basically be doing what my template function is currently doing. Let's see, Celsius, or no, Fahrenheit to Celsius. We don't need this or this. This input is going to be a Fahrenheit temperature, so I'll just say Fahrenheit value. And right here I'll say ftemp. And then right here it says get a temperature in Fahrenheit from the field. Okay, and so I'm going to parse this actually. Parse float. Okay, so we'll have a nice number here for our ftemp. And then we call the second function. So let me come down here. Call the second function, store the value returned from var to cels in a variable. So I'll say var ctemp equals var to cels, just like that. Okay, which means in here I'd have to return something. So this could actually return something which would be injected here. I'm going to need a Fahrenheit value as a parameter coming in here. And it's that number that we're going to pass in as the parameter. And so when I do this, when I call var to cels, this ftemp that I pass in, so to say, into this function is going to come in right here. Okay, if I had multiple things right here, then they would just correspond to whatever I put here. Okay, so if these were different variables, they would just come into each one of these corresponding spaces. Okay, but we only need the ftemp, and I'll just name it f. That's fine. Okay, and then whatever this returns, it will get assigned to ctemp, and then we're just going to display ctemp right here for the user to see. Okay, so let's call this, let's see, this is 9.2. And right here, let's say we're just going to check to make sure that all this is working. This is the return. Okay, so we can see if this do input output is working and if this is getting the value that it needs to display in this output div. Okay, so I'm going to copy this file path and paste it right here. If I said 55, this is the return. Okay, and that is where this came from. So we know this is working as intended. Now we just have to actually calculate it. So for some of our processing, let's see here, does it say what we need to do? Okay, let me just look it up real quick. All right, I just Googled this. Looks like the formula is 32 degrees, or the Fahrenheit value minus 32 times 5/9 would equal Celsius. Okay, so in here, what we're going to do is right here, instead of having that string, I'll just say F minus 32, because our Fahrenheit value is just coming in. I just named it F. I could name this anything. Okay, and then I'll say times, and then 5 divided by 9. Okay, so if I refresh this and I say 32 comes in as 0, that's good. If I say 0, negative 17. If I say 50 degrees Fahrenheit, comes in as 10. And 100 degrees Fahrenheit is 37. Okay, I'm pretty sure like 104 is 40. Yeah, so I think this is working well. All right, so the last thing I want to show you, actually, let's open up our developer tools and sources, and we're just going to step through this line by line. Okay, so the first thing that's called is do input output. So I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. I'm going to say 200. All right, so we're parsing the input, and it gets put into ftemp. And then this guy calls the function far to Celsius, which will come right here. Okay, it passed in 200, which was right here, this ftemp value. It passed it in right here, and then we do our math, and it will return this value. Okay, then it'll come here, assign that value to ctemp, and then display ctemp in that div. Okay, so that is how that is working, and that is our assignment. Okay, so pretty simple. If I take this out, this is all there is. Okay, we have this do input output function, and then just this far to Celsius. Now I could have made this into a separate Celsius temperature. I could have made this into a separate thing right here, but there's really no point to. Okay, because this is all that this function is for, is to just calculate the Celsius value from a Fahrenheit temperature. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions.